follow up about the MAGA Republican attention. So if we're all in agreement that it is incorrect to say the 2020 election was stolen, what about the 2016 election?
Look, I'm not going to go back to where we were or what happened in 2016. We're going to focus on the here and now. We're going to focus on what's happening today.
But just in trying to understand the new attention on the MAGA Republicans, you tweeted in 2016
I knew this was
Trump
coming.
stole an election. You
I was
tweeted-
waiting, Peter, when you were going to ask me that question.
Well, great. Here we go. You tweeted Trump stole an election. You tweeted Brian Kemp stole an election. If denying election results is extreme now,
Yeah.
why was
So
it then?
let's be really clear. That comparison that you made is just ridiculous. I have
How
been
is that
well,
ridiculous?
you're asking me a question. Let me answer it.
And you said it was ridiculous.
I was talking specifically at that time of what was happening with voting rights. That's what we're talking about today, and that's what the president's going to focus on. All right, we're going to have to move. I'm going to call on folks.
In September here, has the president or anyone within the administration been briefed on the intelligence community's assessment of the classified or sensitive documents that have been retrieved at Mar-a-Lago?
No.
And is there a protocol for that? I mean, given that we are talking about sensitive government documents,
So
America's democracy, does he then denounce the efforts by some Democrats to prop up Republicans who support the MAGA agenda in the primaries?
I'm not going to talk about political action or what is happening in the midterms. I'm not going to talk anything that's related to the midterms or politics as well. I cannot, standing where I am and also the role that I have. So I'm going to go to the back and then I'll come back front.
He's also said frequently over the last several days, talked about how not one Republican backed the agenda that he's had in, for example, the Inflation Reduction Act or the Recovery Act. And more broadly, he's talked about how the Republican Party is not your grandfather's Republican Party, that the whole party has changed. So can you talk a little bit about what group of people does he think are MAGA Republicans? Does he, when he says not one Republican supported the agenda, so does that mean that every Republican in Congress is essentially a MAGA Republican?
He's been very clear when he's talked about MAGA Republicans. I'll just quote the president on Friday. He took actually Peter's question, the only reporter that he took a question from on Friday. And he said, in answering your question about this, I'm only saying that because Peter felt a certain way that I didn't take his question on Friday in the briefing room. But the president did take your question that day. Well, I hear you. There we go. Okay, so when people voted for Donald Trump, this is President Biden, and support him now. They
can talk about what people meant or didn't mean or by voting in the 2020 election, but there are lots of just regular Republican voters who do support, for example, Rick Scott's ideas about what to do with the budget or what to do with Social Security or entitlement programs. There's lots of Republican voters who do agree with the president that they think the election was, with the former president, I mean, but
Yeah,
that
no, I
the
hear you.
election. So does the president consider all of those people who support these extreme agendas that he's talking about to be the MAGA Republicans?
So he has been very clear that he's talking about office holders. He's talking about elected officials who have these MAGA, ultra MAGA Republican agendas, and he's been very clear about that.